Today, we're not going to talk about what to pack for your cruise. We're going to talk about what not to bring on your cruise. The fact is, with a cruise line, there are some items that you're not able to bring on a cruise. They just won't allow it. And other things, well, that'll just make your suitcase too heavy. But I do have one tip, one little hack that's really helpful. So I'm going to let you know that in this video ahead. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website and blog Life Well Cruised, where we help thousands of readers a month get ready for their cruise with our cruise tips. Now today what I'm going to be doing is going through the 10 things that you don't want to bring on your cruise. And we'll be going through what the cruise line won't allow you to bring on the cruise, as well as what you just don't want to bring, because the fact is, you don't want to bring everything plus the kitchen sink. So before we get started, I just wanted to mention that if you do like this video, if you find it helpful, I really do appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up. Not only does it help me to know what content you like and that I should keep creating, but of course it does help more people to see this video on YouTube. So I certainly do appreciate that. And of course, leave me a comment below because I'd love to connect with you. So let's get started. So the first thing that I often see people ask is, should I bring beach towels on my cruise? And that is a great question. Because of course, if you were road tripping it somewhere, or maybe even going to a land resort or a hotel, maybe at a hotel you might want to bring your beach towels, because you wouldn't want to just bring the bath towels to the beach. But actually on a cruise, they do provide you with beach towels. So you could actually take these off the ship and bring them to your excursions. If you're going snorkeling, if you're going to a beach, don't forget to make sure you bring them back, because you can be and will be charged if you don't bring them back. But you are allowed and encouraged to bring them off the ship. On the ship, you will have pool towels at your disposal, so do not waste precious space in your luggage. Don't bring any towels from home. Number 2, can I bring an iron on my cruise? And of course, this is a really good question, because people want to know, well, are irons provided in the cabin, like in hotel rooms? And they're not provided. There's a reason for that. They're a fire hazard. And of course, you don't want to be on a ship and have a fire. That is the worst problem that can happen on a ship. So they do everything they can to prevent that. So anything that can start a fire is absolutely not allowed on a cruise ship. But I am going to give you a little hack of what you can use instead, because you don't want your clothes to be wrinkly and messy. So before I get into the hack, I will tell you there's a couple of simple things that you can do when you're packing. You can try to roll your items together. That really does help. I kind of lay out my dresses and then I sort of roll them. Some of the items that you might bring on your cruise, you might try to find some items that don't wrinkle very easily. That just makes it a lot easier to not even have to think about ironing anything. Good old-fashioned steam. So just in the shower, you can just hang something up and that can loosen those little light wrinkles. But there is a product that I absolutely love that must be $1 or $2. So I'm going to show you what that is. Perfect, I have it right here. Downy Wrinkle Release. It literally, I think I picked this up either on Amazon or Walmart, and it's like $1.50 or something like that, or $2. It's like nothing for this. You just spray the Downy Wrinkle Release on your clothes. You give it a little tug. And sometimes I might even hang it in the shower as well, just to kind of get the wrinkles out, but it really does work. So Downy Wrinkle Release, bring that, don't worry about an iron. Oh, and if you were wondering, can I bring a steamer? You can't bring a steamer either. So you really need the Downy Wrinkle Release. Number 3, should I bring hangers on my cruise? And this is a great question. Oftentimes I actually see people say that they do bring hangers on cruises, but it's not necessary. We've been on over 20 cruises, and on every single cruise, I can tell you I am an overpacker, so I need extra hangers. I much prefer to hang my clothes than to fold them up onto the shelves. I do that a little bit if I have to, but they stay much more wrinkle-free if I do hang them. So I hang up almost, well, as much as I can. So what I do, I have a little tip for you, is on the very first day of the cruise, on embarkation day, we say hello to the cabin attendant, talk for a couple of minutes, and something I let him or her know is when they have a chance later that day, if they can please bring me some extra hangers. And they're super accommodating. It's never been a problem. They usually bring me some extra wire hangers that might be from the laundry, and that doesn't bother me at all. So if you don't mind having the simple white wire hangers, they'll bring you also, of course, the better hangers, but they might bring you, if you need like a lot of extra, like I might ask for an extra 20 hangers. So they'll just bring those wire hangers and they work just fine. And this way you don't have to bring them from home. Number 4, do I need to bring my own toiletries? Are toiletries included on the cruise? So basic toiletries are usually included. So that would include like a shower gel or a little bar of soap, kind of like at a hotel. You might have shampoo and conditioner, but it will be very basic unless you're in a suite or you're in maybe an aqua class or a concierge class, like a class of cabin on some of the cruises that have a little bit more extra amenities. Otherwise, it's going to be really basic. So if that's fine for you, then don't worry about it. Don't bring anything extra. I like certain products. They just help, like, you know, with my hair or whatever. And that's a personal thing. So I always bring my own, but, you know, judge that accordingly. You certainly don't need to bring your own toiletries like shower gel, shampoo, etc. Number 5, most of us bring too much clothes on a cruise. So you definitely don't need as much clothing, as many shoes as you think or want to bring on your cruise. I'm totally guilty of this. Don't stress too much though, because you know, you do want to be comfortable and happy on your cruise, but you really don't need as much as you think. If you do want a bit of a guide of what to wear on a cruise, I am going to leave that video, what to wear on a cruise, just above. So you can click into that later on. I'll leave it in the description below as well. So you can get an idea of what you need for formal nights, for port days, for sea days, for semi-casual nights, all of that stuff. So I will leave that information for you. But we all probably bring more clothing than we need. I know for me, I personally do find that when I'm packing up at the end of the cruise, that there's at least a third of the clothing that I'm bringing that I am not wearing. So I am going to try, it's a little bit of a challenge for me, to bring a little less on my cruise. You might want to do the same. Number 6, do I need to bring my own pillow? Now, I don't know about you, but I don't travel with my own pillow. But I do know that my son actually kind of likes to, but he does not bring his own pillow on a cruise, partially because we really just don't have the room. But the pillows, the bedding are really comfortable on a cruise. So I think that you'll probably be happy. They'll give you more than one pillow. If you're in certain cabin classes, sometimes you even have a little bit of a pillow menu. So you have different things. A little tip for you is if you do find the bedding, if you find the bed itself to be maybe too firm or not as comfortable, is do talk with your cabin steward, because they can bring you sort of a mattress topper, and there are different ways they can try to make your bed more comfortable. I personally find the beds extremely comfortable on cruise ships, but if for some reason it's not to your liking, do talk with your cabin attendant to make things a little bit more comfortable. Number 7, do I need to bring a hairdryer? Now, cruise lines actually do provide hair dryers. Well, at least every cruise that we've been on. So usually they're in a drawer over at the vanity or the desk, and there'll be a little hair dryer. So depending on what you like to use at home, you might find this fine. I know a lot of people say that they like the hair dryer. Other people say bring your own. So for me, for my hair, that hair dryer just would not work. It doesn't mean that they're bad, but I know it wouldn't work for my hair. So I will give you a little tip. There is a hair dryer that I really like that's small and super light, and I found it recently, and it's called the Baby Bliss Pro. So it's actually like a travel edition. It's super small, but it really is very good and very powerful and light. So I actually bring it with me, and then this way it kind of avoids me bringing my big heavy hair dryer from home. And I could have it on the cruise for the nights that I do want to blow dry my hair, because I have curly hair, so that's kind of a reality. Otherwise, I just bring hair products. But that's just something, if you do want a hair dryer. I'm going to leave a little Amazon link in the description below, because I know so many people have told me that they also like it. But the cruise line does have a hair dryer, so it is not something that you need. Number 8. Do I need to bring snacks on a cruise? So no, you don't need to bring any snacks on a cruise or prepackaged snacks or anything like that. And the reason is that there's really so much food that is available on a cruise. You have, first of all, your main dining room where you can eat your breakfast, your lunch, or your dinner, or all three. You, of course, have the buffet that is open a good part of the day. Some cruise lines are going to have their buffet open later in the evening and some a little less late in the evening, but there are always cafes that are open to grab a snack. There's ice cream, there's popcorn, there's cookies. So there's all of that. But I am going to give you a little tip. If you don't want to bring any prepackaged snacks, but you do want to sometimes have maybe a little snack in your cabin, especially if you have kids, sometimes it's handy to have a few crackers or something like that, like those little goldfish or something like that. So I had a little tip for you, and it comes from one of my friends. And basically what it is bring Ziploc baggies, which you should always bring on a cruise. You just never know where you can use a Ziploc baggie. They are so handy, but bring Ziploc baggies on your cruise. And for your children in particular, you can give each of your children a little Ziploc baggie, and from the buffet at lunch or at breakfast or during the day, go and fill up a little bowl of pretzels or of some cereal or of some cheese or some crackers, and put those items into little Ziploc baggies and then bring them back to your cabin. So if later in the evening time they like that kind of snack of crackers or cheese or maybe even an apple or some grapes, bring that from the buffet and then leave that in your cabin. And then this way you can avoid bringing prepackaged snacks, which honestly, you don't probably have a lot of room in your suitcases. And there's so much food on board that one thing you just don't want to worry about, you know, is actually bringing food from home when you're on a cruise. There's too much. You don't need to do that. Number 9, should I bring a yoga mat or any gym equipment on my cruise? Now, I have to tell you, cruise lines have amazing gyms. They are significantly nicer, better equipped than any hotel that I have ever been in. So you don't need to bring any of that. You can actually, usually within the gym, there's going to be the machines themselves. There will be classes that you can partake in if you want, but there's also going to be a section where usually you can just kind of use some of the equipment, and there'll be yoga mats and, you know, there's different bands and free weights and things like that. So you can go in the gym and you can use things at your disposal. So definitely don't bring that from home. Number 10. How should I bring jewelry safely on a cruise, or should I bring jewelry at all? So for jewelry, you have a couple of different options. First of all, you can leave it at home and you could not bring a lot of expensive jewelry on a cruise, and that will be just fine. There are people that will bring, even instead of wearing their engagement ring, maybe they might even bring like a cubic zirconia ring, and I've heard of people doing that, and that's completely fine if that's what you want to do. You can bring costume jewelry, that's not a problem. However, if you do bring jewelry on a cruise, I can tell you that you can do this safely. Now, the way that you would do this is, first of all, there's a safe in the cabin. So you can bring your jewelry and you can put your jewelry in the safe when you are not using it. So if during the day you are at the pool and you're not wearing your watch that you want to wear later on, just leave that in the safe, and that is safe, that is secure. When you are going out at the ports, those are days, on port days, that I would not wear expensive jewelry. So I wouldn't be wearing a diamond tennis bracelet, and I wouldn't be wearing a very large engagement ring. So that I would leave on the cruise ship and keep it simple when you're in port. But when you're on the cruise, I personally feel very safe, and I have a little bit of an attitude about this. And my attitude is that when I'm at home, I don't have a lot of occasions to wear the jewelry that I feel really good in. Maybe my things that are a little bit fancier. They're not necessarily super expensive, but they are things that maybe they go nicely with certain outfits. So I bring them on a cruise because I feel like, well, when else do I have a chance to wear them? And so that's what I do. But I do leave them in the safe during the day, and again, when I am at port. And something else to mention is that when you are getting on the cruise, is keep in mind that any valuables that you're bringing with you, make sure that they are, really on your person. So either in your handbag or in your carry-on bag, but don't pack that into your luggage. And I'm also going to link the video to what to bring in a carry-on if you want more tips about that. You can find that just above. So I have a couple of bonus tips for you about what not to bring on a cruise. So I actually asked this question in my Facebook community, and I had asked, like, what are the things that on recent cruises that you've gone on that you've brought that you just didn't need or that you wouldn't bring again? And I just thought some of the responses were really funny. Of course, they were the really practical things, a lot of the things that I mentioned here today, but there were also some things that just made me laugh. So I do have to mention them. Some of the things people wouldn't bring again were in-laws, their own children, and I guess sometimes you do need some romance. Too many shoes, too many outfits. So that came up a lot. So definitely have the clothing. So I hope that these tips on what not to pack on a cruise have been helpful for you. If you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and let me know below, when is your cruise? When is your cruise coming up? I would love to hear from you. And if you do want to connect with me, I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, and I would love to connect with you there. So I look forward to next time. Please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. There is a new video that we upload every week. Happy cruising, and see you next time.